In the bustling city of Eldoria, where skyscrapers kissed the sky and the streets pulsed with life, there lived a man named Henry. By all accounts, he was a successful businessman, sharp, ambitious, and perpetually busy. Yet beneath his polished exterior lay a heart weighed down by a profound sense of loss. Henry had once been a dreamer, a young man with aspirations painted in vibrant colors. He had a passion for music, often spending hours strumming his guitar and composing songs that echoed his hopes and fears. But as time marched on, the demands of work and the relentless pursuit of success gradually silenced his passion. The guitar, once a loyal companion, sat in a corner of his apartment, collecting dust. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at the office, Henry returned home to find an old photo album on his coffee table. It was a relic from his past, filled with memories of laughter, friendship, and dreams unfulfilled. As he flipped through the pages, nostalgia washed over him like a warm embrace. There were pictures of his younger self, carefree and full of life, alongside friends who had long since drifted away. He came across a photo of a summer festival, where he had performed on stage, guitar in hand, with his friends cheering him on. The joy captured in that moment struck him like a bolt of lightning. What happened to those days, he whispered to himself, a pang of regret piercing his heart. That night, sleep eluded him. Images of his past danced in his mind, and he felt a growing urgency to reclaim what he had lost. I need to find a way back, he thought. Back to the man I used to be. As dawn broke, Henry made a decision. He would take a break from his high-powered job and embark on a journey to rediscover himself. With a newfound sense of purpose, he packed a bag, grabbed his guitar, and set off to the small town of Willow Creek, a place that held cherished memories of his youth. The drive to Willow Creek was filled with anticipation. The winding roads were lined with trees that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. As he approached the town, familiar sights greeted him: the old diner, the park where he had spent countless afternoons, and the quaint music shop where he had bought his first guitar. Upon arriving, Henry checked into a small inn run by a kind elderly woman named Martha. She greeted him with a warm smile, her eyes sparkling with recognition. "Henry! It's been so long. You used to come here all the time with your friends." "I know, Martha. I'm back to find a piece of myself I lost along the way," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. The inn was cozy, filled with the scent of freshly baked cookies and the sound of soft music playing in the background. As Henry settled into his room, memories flooded back: laughter, music, and carefree days spent with friends. He set his guitar on the bed, almost as if it were a long-lost friend. The next morning, Henry visited the park, where he had spent countless hours with his friends. He found a bench under the large oak tree where they used to gather. Sitting there, he felt the weight of time pressing down on him. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and began to play a few chords on his guitar. The familiar sounds brought a rush of memories, and he felt as if he were transported back in time. As he played, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and he noticed a group of children playing nearby. Their laughter filled the air, a sound so pure and joyful that it tugged at his heart. He smiled, realizing how much he had missed the simple pleasures in life. That evening, Henry decided to visit the local diner. As he entered, the bell above the door jingled, and he was greeted by the familiar faces of the townsfolk. They welcomed him warmly, and he felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. He ordered a slice of pie and sat down, soaking in the atmosphere. While he ate, he overheard a group of musicians in the corner, their laughter and lively discussions igniting a spark within him. He approached them, introducing himself and sharing his passion for music. They welcomed him to join their impromptu jam session later that night. As the sun set, casting a golden hue over the diner, Henry felt a sense of excitement bubbling within him. He hadn't played in front of an audience for years, but tonight felt different. The music called to him, urging him to reclaim his lost time. Later that evening, the diner filled with locals eager to listen to the music. Henry took a deep breath as he stepped onto the small stage, clutching his guitar. The familiar weight felt comforting, and as he strummed the first chords, a wave of nostalgia washed over him. He played a mix of old songs and new compositions, pouring his heart into every note. The crowd swayed, clapped, and sang along, their joy infectious. For the first time in years, Henry felt alive. Each chord resonated with the dreams he had buried, and he realized how much he had missed the connection that music brought. After the performance, the musicians approached him, praising his talent. They invited him to join their group, a local band that played at various events in the area. Henry's heart raced at the thought. Would I really be able to do this again, he wondered. Over the next few weeks, Henry immersed himself in the music scene of Willow Creek. He played at local festivals, collaborated with other musicians, and even started writing new songs that reflected his journey of rediscovery. Each day felt like a new beginning, a chance to reclaim the time he thought he had lost. However, as he delved deeper into the world of music, Henry began to notice a strange phenomenon. Time itself seemed to behave differently in Willow Creek. Days felt longer, moments stretched, and he found himself losing track of time altogether. He could easily spend hours playing music without realizing how much time had passed. One evening, as he sat with his new friends around a campfire, he shared his concerns. Have any of you ever felt like time moves differently here? He asked, gazing into the flames. The group exchanged glances, and one of the musicians, Liam, nodded thoughtfully. I've felt it too. It's like the world slows down when you're doing what you love. Maybe it's a blessing. Henry pondered this idea. Perhaps it was the magic of the town, a place where dreams flourished, and time took a backseat to passion. He embraced the notion, allowing himself to be fully present in each moment. As the weeks turned into months, Henry's connection with the town deepened. He formed friendships that felt like family, sharing stories, laughter, and music late into the night. Yet, despite the joy he found, a lingering sense of urgency tugged at him. He couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to return to his life in Eldoria, to face the responsibilities he had left behind. One day, while exploring the town, Henry stumbled upon a quaint little shop that caught his eye. The sign read Timekeeper's Curiosities. Intrigued, he stepped inside, greeted by shelves filled with strange clocks, hourglasses, and artifacts from different eras. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with twinkling eyes, approached him. "Ah, a seeker of time, are you?" he said with a knowing smile. "What brings you here, young man?" Henry hesitated, unsure of how to express his feelings. "I feel like I've lost so much time, and now that I'm here, it's as if time has become fluid. I want to understand it." The shopkeeper nodded, motioning for Henry to follow him to a back room filled with intricate timepieces. "Time is a curious thing," he said. "It can be both a friend and an enemy. What you perceive as lost may not be as lost as you think." Henry studied the clocks, each one ticking in its own rhythm. "How do I reclaim what I've lost?" he asked earnestly. The shopkeeper smiled wistfully. "You must learn to embrace the present. Time is not something to be controlled, it is to be experienced. Focus on the moments that matter, and you will find that you have much more time than you realize." Inspired by the old man's words, Henry left the shop with a newfound perspective. He resolved to cherish each moment, to savor the laughter and music that filled his days. But the clock was ticking, and he knew he couldn't avoid reality forever. As the weeks passed, Henry felt a growing conflict within him. The longer he stayed in Willow Creek, the harder it became to imagine returning to his old life. He had found a piece of himself he thought was lost, yet the responsibilities of Eldoria loomed over him like a shadow. One evening, after a particularly moving performance, Henry gathered his friends around the fire. "I need to talk to you all," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "I've been avoiding the truth. I have responsibilities back in Eldoria, and I can't keep running away from them." His friends listened intently, their expressions a mix of understanding and concern. "You've found a home here, Henry," Liam said. "But it's important to face your past too. You can't abandon it." "I know," Henry replied, feeling the weight of their words. "But I feel torn. I've rediscovered my passion, and I don't want to lose it again." "Then find a way to integrate both worlds," another musician suggested. "You can carry this love for music with you, no matter where you are." That night, as he lay in bed, Henry contemplated their advice. He realized that he didn't have to choose between his past and present, he could weave them together. He could bring the music of Willow Creek back to Eldoria and share it with the world. With a renewed sense of purpose, Henry began to plan his return. He would organize a farewell concert to celebrate the time he had spent in Willow Creek, a way to honor the friendships and memories he had created. The night of the concert arrived, and the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. The community gathered in the park, lights strung from trees creating a magical ambience. As Henry took the stage, he felt a wave of emotion wash over him. This was his chance to give back to the town that had given him so much. He played with passion, pouring his heart into every note. The crowd swayed, sang along, and cheered, their energy fueling his performance. As he looked out at the faces illuminated by the soft glow of lights, he felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. After the final song, the crowd erupted into applause. Henry felt tears prick at his eyes as he addressed them. "Thank you all for welcoming me back into the music. You've shown me the beauty of living in the moment, and I'll carry this with me wherever I go." As the concert ended, Henry received hugs, well wishes, and promises to keep in touch. He felt a bittersweet ache in his heart as he prepared to leave, knowing that while he had to return to Eldoria, a part of him would always remain in Willow Creek. The next morning, with his guitar strapped to his back and a heart full of memories, Henry drove away from the town that had rekindled his spirit. The road ahead was uncertain, but he felt ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Back in Eldoria, life resumed its familiar pace. The skyscrapers loomed over him, but this time, they felt different, less intimidating, more like challenges to conquer. Henry integrated music into his life, performing at local open mic nights and sharing his passion with colleagues and friends. He found joy in the little moments, using his experiences in Willow Creek as a guiding light. As time passed, he began to blend his two worlds, organizing community events that celebrated music and creativity. He reached out to old friends and rekindled connections that had faded over the years. The lost time began to feel less like a burden and more like a stepping stone to a brighter future. Henry often reflected on the lessons he had learned in Willow Creek. He understood that time was not something to be feared or controlled, it was a tapestry of moments to be cherished. Each note he played, each friend he reconnected with, added depth to the fabric of his life. Years later, as he stood on a stage in Eldoria, guitar in hand, Henry looked out at the audience, friends, family, and new faces, and felt a profound sense of fulfillment. He strummed the first chords of a song he had written, a tribute to the journey he had taken. In that moment, he realized that while time could be lost, it could also be found again. It was never too late to embrace one's passions, to reconnect with love, and to create a life filled with meaning. The lost of time had transformed into a celebration of life, a reminder that every moment mattered. As the last note resonated through the air, Henry smiled, knowing that he had truly come home, both to himself and to the world around him. And in that harmony, he found the beauty of time well spent.